Hello all, welcome back to Learning Partner. If you are new, please do subscribe. This is another channel where you can directly connect with me. We have around 1000 plus members already who are working. We take live coding sessions and everything. To just get notified about those sessions, please do join this group. So a product listing app. So this was a machine test someone has received and they have shared me. So it's a simple machine task. Let's say we have an e-commerce application, and for that admin side application we are building. And inside admin application, what we have to do, we have to create product, update product. We need to showcase the product list also with edit and the update button, edit and the delete and the update, right? And the login page should be a static one so that interviewer can judge you on the login part also. Just a static login part we need to design. Then user will be able to create the product, update product. We need to showcase the product listing with edit and the delete button. And one more advanced task was, instead of using the Java's basic bootstrap browser alert, you need to use this toaster. So this is, with this they will be able to see like, are you able to use the external libraries or not. So these are the simple tasks which we have to do. So the project I'm going to, it's a simple project. So I'm not going to create a new repository. So already I have created a repository with Angular 18 logical scenarios. So inside that, in a single component, I will be completing this. Fine. So let's start. This is an Angular 18 project. So basically like 18 version, Bootstrap and Fontasim is already installed. So let's get started. Let me just run. Now, the API which we are going to use in project api.zerasim.in, you will be able to find the API documentation, and inside that product controller is there. So all the APIs are over here. But one thing is like, the APIs over here are with server side pagination. So I'm not just going to cover that. Dedicated video I have already created how to do the server side API integration. So for that I will be providing that video in the description. But here we will just try to get the product. Fine. Now, so first thing, like, we have to create the component. So this is the folder, machine test folder I have created. So let's open a new terminal over here. So here let's say ng generate component products. Let's enter. So just a component I'm creating. Now in this single component only, we will be creating all the CRUD operation. Fine. So if you go to this bootstrap site now, getbootstrap.com, you will be able to find so many examples. So this is a thumbnail, card thumbnail, which we are going to use. Here we will showcase the whatever the image we have, edit and the delete button. Fine. And in the model pop-up, we will have our CRUD operation. So let's just first design the basic UI code structure. So I will create a row. Inside that row, I will have call 12. And inside call 12, first I will have, let's say, a title and a button to insert and update delete. So for that, what I will do, I will just create call 7. And here we will have H6 products. And then we have call 5. And here we will have a button class btn warning, add new. And on this new button, we are going to open the model pop-up. And after this, again, we will have call row, call 12. And inside this, we are going to have the cards. Let's just copy this card. So this was the card. So let's annotate it. Let's copy. And now we have the call 12, right? So, but over here, we are going to show in one row, we are going to show at least, let's say, 4 cards. So instead of this, we will get call 4. And this we will put it over here. We don't need this. Let's copy paste. Let's save. So just the basic UI we have created. Now we have created the component, then we have to create the route also. So let's go to approute.ts. Let's copy, let's paste products and the component. products component. Fine. So we have created our route. Then now this route, we need to add it in the navbar also. So we have this. So over here, I have just created this expandable dropdown. So let's copy this. Let's, and here I will say machine test. So first machine test will be our products. So this will go over here. Products. Now, if you are going to use my API, you need to run the API on the particular, you need to run your project on the particular port that is 4209. So ng serve hyphen port 4209. Enter. Fine. So now our application is running on 4209. Let's try to access it. Let's open a new tab 4209. And in the machine test, if I click on products, so you can see view is coming. But this button class, I think we didn't provide it correctly. BTN. And it should be at the right hand side. So text end. Let's save. Fine. Now on this button click, we need to open the model pop-up. So let's get the Bootstrap model pop-up code. So let's go to Bootstrap. We will use view child to open the model pop-up so that we can cover that topic also. So this is the simple model pop-up div. So let's copy. Model pop-up, normally we can put it at the end of the screen. Let's just format it. Now in this model pop-up body, we are going to have our form. So let's see what things we need in the form. So see, this is the post API. So for post API, you can see product ID is our primary key. Product name, short name, category. It's a string. So we can have a static dropdown, SKU, price, thumbnail image URL, and the delivery time span. Over here also we can have a dropdown. So let's design a form for this. So over here, okay, first thing like we need to create, we need to create the view child to open the model pop. So on click of this, we are going to open the model pop-up. So click, open, model, right click. Let's create this. Fine. Now here we are going to create a view child. So view child as in to get the any element in the .ts, just like document.get element by ID. So first thing like this is the div which this is the particular element which we want the access. So here we need to provide the hash property. So hash, let's say new model. So this is the hash property name we have given. Now we have to create the view child. Why it is giving error? Yeah, so we didn't created the function. Now here we have to create the view child. So at the rate view child round bracket, and here we need to provide the hash property. So whatever the hash property we gave over here, that we need to provide it over here. Model data type. Now in this view child, what we are going to store the instance of our HTML element. So that will be element ref. It's like providing a data type. Sorry. Fine. Now it will say like it is not initialized. So for that, we just need to add an undefined over here or undefined. Fine. So we have created our view child. So in this button click, what we need to do first, we need to add a null check. If this model is not null, then sorry, this dot model is not null, then we just need to add a dynamic CSS because by default model is hidden. If we add style block, model will be available. So this dot model dot native element dot style dot display is equal to block. Fine. So let's just test if we are able to open the model pop-up. So if we click on add new, you can see we are able to open the model pop-up. Just like that, we need to close it also. So let's quickly write it. So I will just copy paste this, and instead of open, it will be close. And when we have to close the model pop-up, just the none CSS we need to add. And this function we will call over here. And at the close button also. So we should be able to close the model pop-up also. Let's quickly save and check. So on click of it, we are able to open. On click of close. So that is getting closed. Fine. Now in this model pop-up first, or before that, now first thing, get API integration means we need to show the data that we get from the API. So see, this is the get API. So if we click, and if we click on try it out, and if we click on execute, so if we just pass this URL also now, you can see all the data we are able to see. This is the get API. It has all the parameter, but this is for server side filtering, means pagination, sorting. If you have to do that, then only you need to pass this parameter. If you don't pass any parameter, you will get all the records. So this is the get API we need to integrate. Now, whenever you are submitting a machine test, always make sure you are covering as many as topics you know from the Angular. So now we have to make the API call. So from Angular 17, we don't have the app module, but we have app config. So in app config, previously to make API call, we used to import app HTTP client module, but that is deprecated in Angular 18. So now in the provider section, we need to add provide HTTP client. Like this. This is the first thing before making API call. This is the first thing we need to do. Then, so in our component, now either we can directly make the API call into component as well, but that is not good thing. We should create a service, and in that service, we should put our API call function. So in app folder, let's create a folder that will be, let's say, service. And in service folder, we will create a service. ng generate service. Let's name the service as product and enter. So this will create a service. Fine. Now in this service, we have to inject our HTTP client service. So private HTTP colon HTTP client. So this is the old way how we inject a service. This is called as a dependency injection. New way is there from Angular 16 that is using inject. So that we will do into the component. Now get all products. Normal function. So here we are going to return. So this dot HTTP dot get API call. Now we need the URL. So URL will be this. So I will just copy paste and I will paste it over here. So for get API, we just need to pass URL only. Fine. So this is very basic API call, but this should not be your case. Now you know what kind of data you are going to get. This is the object. This is an array of object you are going to get. So let's create an interface of that. So over here, I'm just going to use one side, convert JSON to TS. It will directly create an interface for me. So let's use this side. This is our object. So you can see it has provided me the TypeScript object of this. So now we are creating interface. So in app folder, again, I will create a folder that will be, let's say, model. And inside that, I will create product.ts. Over here, I will paste it, export. Instead of type, we have to say interface. And it will be I product. Fine. Why to create interface and class? So strongly typing means instead of using it any, always you should create class or interface. So whatever the properties we have, that interface we have created. Now, so we know that this function is going to return the data type of this. See, the return type is array of that. So now over here, we need to provide the return type of this function also. This function is going to return the data type of observable. See, observable. So colon observable. But what type of data? Array of this model, array of this interface. So like this, and we need the import of this. Once you provide the data type like this, and after get also, you need to provide the return type. What type of return you are doing like this. This is your API call function should look like. Fine. Now, if you see again, one more observation is like this API is constant. We will have at least 4 to 5 function. Everywhere this is going to be same. So instead of this, you can create a local variable over here. API URL colon data type string is equal to, let's put it. So common API, whatever the common API URL is that we have put it over here. Now over here, either you can use concatenation or you can use the template literal. So the new thing is template literal. So always try to use that. So tilde sign here, dollar curly bracket, this dot API URL. Then we just need the URL. What is that? Products end method. Fine. So this is your API call function should look like. By using this template literal, you are showing that you are also aware about the JavaScript concept also. Fine. Now, so our service is ready. Now into our product component, we need on the page load, we need to make an API call. So how do we write the API call on the page load? So first we have to make use of the ng on init lifecycle. So implement on init. Once you implement, it will ask you to create the ng on it also. Ng on init. Fine. Now we will create one more function. Get or let's say load products. Now, so in this function, we are going to call a function from that service. So first we need to inject that service also. So now product service is equal to inject. This is the new thing we have. So product service, we are going to inject. This is going to serve the same purpose what we have did over here like this. Fine. This is dependency injection and this is using inject. This is new thing which we have got it from Angular 16. Now over here, this dot product service dot get all product. This function is going to return the data type of observable. So dot subscribe you can do result colon. What type of data you are going to get? I product array. So you need to provide the data type over here also. You should not use anywhere. Fine. Everywhere you need to do the hardcore thing. Now, whatever the data you are going to get, that you need to store it also somewhere. So now from Angular 17, we have got the signal. In Angular 18, signal is in a stable form. So let's use the signal. Instead of storing the data into a normal variable, we will use signal. So product list is equal to signal. What type of data we are going to store in the signal? Array only. So let's provide the data type also. And we will initialize that with empty array like this. So what? We have created a signal. Now once, and this function we will call it on the ng on it so that function will get called on the page load. Now we need whatever the data we get over here in the result that we need to store it into the signal. So how do we update the signal? So this dot product list dot using set method. What we need to set? The result, whatever we get. Fine. So on the page load, we will have one API call and whatever the data we will get that we are going to store into this signal. Now this signal we have to use to iterate the data. So in the HTML, we had this card, correct? So now let's get rid of the static card. Now from Angular 17, previously, if we have to iterate the element, we used to use ng for, but now we have @ control flow statement. So we will use @ for loop. For this, you don't have to import the common module. And how do we read the signal? As a method. See, if I directly try to access the signal like this, now it will throw us the error. So this is how we read it. And whatever the element which you want to iterate, that you have to put it inside the for loop. Fine. Now, over here, instead of SVG, we will use image tag. And SRC is there, we will use property binding. And item dot, what we will pass? Thumbnail image URL. So this we are passing it over here. Means basically for this image tag, we are passing the URL. In this, we are going to get the URL. Then let's say over here, we can show what we can show. item, product name we can show. Then what else? Let's create a row column structure. Over here, we will show category. And over here, we will show price. Fine. Let's add a text and let's just save all and let's check if we are able to properly see the data, whatever we get from the API call. So yes, data is visible, but I think image is not coming. Let's see why. Mm, let's check the API call. I think we are not getting image from this API only. Let's check. Yeah, thumbnail image URL is empty only. Fine. So once we save our product with the proper image, the image will come. Now, on click of add, we have to design the form now. So let's quickly design the form. So over here, dot row, dot call 6. Over here, we will have the label. Let's say short name. And then we will have input type. We are going to use reactive form, class form, control. So just like this, I will design the form. So let me just pause it. So this is how UI going to be. SKU will be very short. So short text box, long name, short name. Here we have the drop down price, delivery span again drop down, and the product image URL. Let me show you the code also. So see, simply call three, and label and the text. It's a simple UI, and the drop down is also static one. One more thing, you can create an array, and that array you can bind it over here. That also you can do. Fine. Now, so form we have created. Let's change the heading. New product. Now, as we decided, we are going to go with the reactive form. So for reactive form, we need to create the form first. And before that, first we need to import reactive form module. Reactive form module. Why it's not suggesting? Let's add the import of the form at the rectangular slash form. And inside that, we will have reactive form module. And this we have to add it over here. Fine. So now first we have to create the form. So whenever we create the form, the control name should be this only. Whatever the properties name we have in the post API, that only control name we should have. Fine. So let's create it. So product form colon form group is equal to new form group. By default, I'm just initializing it with the empty. Fine. So either you can use the form group or you can use that form builder also. Anyway, fine. Both are doing the same way. Just take some technical, very compiler level things are different. But as a development wise, either you can go with the form group or you can use the form builder service also. Both are going to do the same thing. Fine. Now, whatever the controls we have. So first I will create a method. So let's say initialize form. In this method, we are going to actually initialize the form, whatever the controls we have. So this dot product form is equal to again new form group control. Now, what are the controls? Means what are the object, what are the properties we have? Those many we need to initialize. So product ID, my control name, then what we need to store? New form control. Now, normally what we do over here, we initialize like this, right? Then we add the validators dot required and so many things like this. So instead of initializing this as empty, what you can do, you will create an instance of our product also interface. So product obj data type of this. I will explain why do we do like this. What it is saying. It's saying it doesn't have initialization, but why it is saying like this? Because we have initialized as a product. Okay, let it be. But no, we are going to need that data. How we can do that? So instead of survey, instead of interface, we should have created class. So let's, instead of interface, let's make it class. And in constructor, we have to initialize all the field. Let me just quickly do this. So this is how we initialize. Category is equal to empty. So then where it is category? Wait, what is the error? Is equal to. So now error is gone. Just like this, we need to initialize all the properties. Let me just do that. So just like this, you need to initialize all the properties. Here product ID was number, so I initialize with 0. By default, whenever we are creating new record, primary key, we need to send it as a 0. So that's why 0. Now in the component, we can just initialize this. Because it's a class, so now we can use the constructor. So all the properties will be initialized. And over here, instead of empty, I will be using this dot product object dot product ID. Why I'm doing like this? Because in case of edit, we are going to use the same method to initialize the form again, so that we will have the data properly available over here. Fine. Let me just create remaining field also. So product name, again new, form control, round bracket. This we will bind it with this dot product object dot product name. Just like that, I will create all the field. So you can see we have initialized our form like this. Whatever the validation, required validation you need to give now, you can give like this. So instead of this putting it over here, let's add the validation to product name, comma, square bracket, because validations can be multiple. Then let's say required is there. Let's say min length dot min length. Let's say minimum 4 characters needed. Like that, all to all the control you can add the validation. Fine. And this we need to call once the page load, means on the constructor, we will need the access of constructor. And in the constructor, we will call this function. So by default, our form won't be undefined. So you can see in the constructor, we are calling this function. Fine. Now we have created our form. Now this form we need to bind to our template also. So this is the card body. Now we need to create a form. So in over here, I will create a form tag. Whenever we are dealing with the reactive form, make sure we have the form tag. And now on form tag, we need to add form group, and whatever the form name we have created, that we need to provide it over here. So it will goes over here. Then we just need to append the field. Now here we need to use form control name is equal to. Now let me just open the window side by side. Split right. Let me just, now what I will do, I will just copy, search this, and I will replace that with this so that we will save the time. Now we just need to copy paste. So product ID we don't showcase, right? So SKU will go over here. Then what do we have? Long name. So long name is nothing but product name. Then we have short name. What are the control name we have given that we need to bind it over here? So category, then price. So price for instead of text, we will make it number only. So that number will be type. Price, delivery time span, then product image URL, nothing but thumbnail URL. Fine. So we have bind all the controls also to the form. Now we just need a save button also. So over here, we will need save button. So save product, save product. Let's create this function. Now, so again, all the API call, we are going to put it into our service. So in the service, we need to create one API call. So I'm just going to copy paste this, save product. Now our URL is going to be same. Just method name is going to change. So post. And whenever we do the post operation, we need the object also. So object I product. And this object we will pass as the second parameter over here. Fine. Now, so this function we need to call over here. So this dot product service dot save product. And this to this function we need the form value. So how do we get the form value? So this dot product form dot value we need, it will give us the object dot subscribe round bracket result colon. Again, what type of result we are going to get? The same model. So this we are not going to get the array, just a single model we are going to get. Why it is giving error? Because here we said multiple. So instead of empty, single instance. Fine. And over here we can showcase alert. First we will go with the alert only. So product created. And once product is created, again we need to call this function so that latest product created, we will get it. And in the else, we should have error block also. If any error is there in the API call. So alert, we will say API error. Fine. And this function we are calling it over here already. So let's just test if we are able to create the product. Some error is there. No, it's proper. Fine. Now if I click on, so on the page load, only one API call is there to get all the product. Add new. Now let's say SKU, maybe one tail. Let's say Moto A22, something name I am giving. Category, let's say mobile. Price, let's say 12,000. Delivery plan, let's say 2-3 days. Let's get the image also. Let's go to the Flipkart and let's use their thumbnail. It won't allow us to. Sorry. We just need the URL. Let's try to save this image. Now on click of save, we should have one API call. Yeah, so product created. 201 the status we have got means success API call. And in the response, we should get the product ID. See, product ID we have got. And this product should be visible somewhere. But no, why product is not visible? $128 we didn't get it. Why? We didn't get the product. Product ID is created, but we didn't get the product. How come? Let me just check the database. So if I show you the database, in a database, we have the product, but the API is like with pagination and everything. So I think we need to pass page number and the page size. So let's pass that. So this is the API, right? So question mark page number is equal to, let's say 1, and page size also we need to send. So let's try to send page size is equal to, let's say 50. Let's try now if we are able to get all the products. Yes, so now you can see we are getting all the product and somewhere our product will be there. See, the image is coming. Let's add the height and the width. So let's say height 100 px. Fine, because we didn't choose the image properly. So image will now blur. So let's add the image height also over here. I'm just adding an inline style, but you should not add it. Inline style, we should avoid 100 px. Let's save. So now you can see wherever image is available, their image is coming. Now one more thing we can do is, by default that alternate was there now. So let's use this HVG. If the image is not there from the API side, we will add @if now over here. So if item dot if thumbnail image URL is equal to empty, or it can be null, then we will showcase this span, or else else. If we have the image from the API side, then we will showcase in the image tag. Let's save and check this. See, wherever image is there, image is coming. Why thumbnail is only there? Okay, here it was. So this text, we will pass it over here. Let's save. So you can see wherever we don't have the image, no image will be available. Wherever we have the image is available. So creation part is done. Now we just need to write the edit and the update. So we have the edit and the update view button, right? So here, first we will complete the delete part. So instead of view, it will be, let's say, delete and danger button. So on click of delete, let's create. Now let me show you the API also. For delete, I think we need to just pass the ID. Yes, so see, we just need to pass the product ID. So on delete function, item dot, what we need to pass, just the product ID. So let's create this function quickly. Now API call function will be same like this. So let's copy paste. Now we need the service also. So let's copy. Instead of whole object, we are going to need the ID. Again, I said like URL will be same, just the method name we need to change. Number, and whatever the ID we pass, that will be like ID is equal to ID, we will pass it over here. Fine. Delete only needs one URL. We don't need to send the object. Now this function, we need to call it over here. Now whatever the ID we get from the front end, that we need to catch it over here. And this ID we will pass it over here. But for delete, we can just show that confirmation message. So we can use confirm box with the message, are you sure to delete? If users click on OK, we will get true, and that check only we will need to add. So is confirm is OK. Then in curly bracket, we will have this piece of code. Product deleted. Let's just test if we are able to delete the product. So let's say Adidas Ultrabook. Let's try to delete this. So on click of delete, you get the API that pop up. If we click on cancel, nothing is happening. If we click on OK, one API call is there. Oh, we got the API error. Why API error? Let's check the URL, how URL should be like that. I think URL is not incorrect. Question mark ID is equal to 2, same thing. Let me just save it, delete. Let's try it one more time. URL is correct only, no? Let's try to compare this. Oh, see, after product, we need to pass the proper URL. So products / delete product. Now it should be there because URL needed this method name also. Now it will allow us to delete. So now if we try to delete this, yeah, product deleted. So now you can see that product got deleted also. And for delete, you can see 204, some status code are also there. Okay. So we are able to delete the product properly. Let's try to delete this air purifier. See, that got deleted. Now the edit part. So for edit, we have one more API call also. So either you can use that get single product. So if you pass the product ID over here, you will get the single object of that particular product. Let me just get any proper ID. So let's say 93 is there. So if we pass 93 to this API, we will get the particular object of that product. See, right? So this is the API call we will create. So in service, again, we need to create the API call. Let's copy this. Let's paste it over here. Product slash and ID is equal to whatever the ID we get. ID we have to pass it over here like this. So in service, we have done that. Now on click of edit, we need to call our API call to get the particular data. We have the data over here also, but ideally we should call the API on edit and we need to pass the API call only. So let's call that function. Again, same kind of function will be there. We will have the parameter. We just need the get API call code, get single product, and we need to pass the product ID. Wait, what is the wrong over here? Why it is saying wrong? So we said we are going to return the data type of this. Okay, not an array, sorry. I will passing this because this function is going to return the single instance of the product. So that's why we removed the array. And now once we get the data, we need to initialize our form again with the data. So this method, we will pass it over here. So this dot initialize form, but before we pass the data, we need to store whatever the object we get, because in this method we are passing this over here. So we need to store the object data into this product object is equal to res. So now while before calling this function, we have the data over here. Fine. And once we do this, we need to open the model pop-up also. Let's try it. So let's open our only. So this we created, right? Now if we click on edit, so you can see the same data is visible over here. One API call is also there. Whatever the data we get from the API, that is populated over here. Let's try to change the name. Instead of 822, let's make it 33. Oh, sorry. Update thing we didn't write. Now, first part is done. Now we just need to do the put API also. So just like the save product, we will need update also. So it will be update. And here instead of post, we have to use put one. And just like update, we need one more API call function for the update. So I'm just copy pasting because everything will stays the same. Update product updated. But we need one more button also. Like how do we decide like this is a new mode or the update mode? So that we can decide at the rate if condition. So this dot product form dot value dot, or instead of that, we should read from controls. What we need to match? Product ID, because that is something unique. So if product ID is 0, means we know like this is a new product. So we will have save button, and at the rate else, we will have the update button. Let's change the color. And instead of save, we will call update product button. Let's just save and check. So now if we click on edit, currently product name is A22. Let's try to change this to 33. Now if we click on updates, you can see update button is visible. Product API is there. If we close, so see, and once we save and update, we need to close that also now. So in after save also, we need to close model function. So that model pop-up will get automatically closed. And over here also. Fine. So this is how we have completed our basic CRUD operation. Now the validation. So while creating form, we have added the validation for the product name. Remaining thing you can add. I will just showcase for the product name. So over here, you can create a div with text danger class. And over here, we can have @ statement. So like this dot product form dot touch property. If user has touched this particular element, then only we need to showcase the validation. And inside that, @ we have two validation required and then the min length. So we will need two span. So this dot product form dot controls product name. On product name only we added, right? Yes. Here we will get the instance of that control. Then question mark dot errors again square bracket required. What it is saying where we need to add it. Okay. What it is saying, a object possibly null. Let's add a question mark over here. Fine. So inside this, we will have our span tag. And this is like this is required. And just like this, again, we will have else, sorry, else if, and the condition will be for min length. So I will just copy this, post it over here instead of required. It will be now min length. And the second span. How many minimum character we decided? 4 character. Minimum 4 characters needed. Let's just check if our API of our validation is working fine. See, if we press, validation is coming properly. Again, you can disable the button also. So for that, you can use, we have this save and submit button, right? So here, disable flag, product form dot invalid property you can use. So unless form is not validated, button will be disabled. See, currently button is disabled, but if we provide the proper validation, button is enabled. So I have only added validation for the one control. Like that, you can add validation to the remaining control also. So this is how we have completed our whole machine test. Fine. So that's it. If you are new, please do like and subscribe.